Hello and welcome to the Computer Game Show. My name's David Turner. I'm here with Sean Bell.
Oi.
James Farley.
Hello.
And Matt Murray.
Hello.
Bit of housekeeping to get done before we get on with the show. Who's taken over the Twitter feed? Anyone?
It's been taken over by the alt-right.
I mean, we can't let Matt near it again after. Do you want to explain, Matt?
Well, I'd just like to start by saying I'm sorry. I sent an insensitive tweet on the weekend, and I'm genuinely sorry about it.
Do you want to explain what was going through your head?
Well, no, I just made a mistake.
No, explain what the tweet is. And
he's allowed to just say sorry and move on. That isn't acceptable.
I mean, he can, yeah, but I think it'd be more interesting to just hear what his intentions was. Clear the air.
Yeah, all right.
So I used a picture that was going around, a lot over the last week, last few days, from the protests in Charlottesville in America of all those alt-right and whatnot, people holding their torches aloft.
And let's call them what they are, Nazis.
I was going to say,
sorry. Yeah, sorry. So I had that picture and I saw other people writing vaguely humorous things about it. Again, I know that's not an excuse. I'm just saying I thought, okay, well, clearly there was maybe some unsaid thing whereby we're all just, treating those idiots as memes, and therefore it's sort of safe. I realised that was a mistake. And I wrote alongside that picture, I can't remember the actual words, but basically it's something along the lines of when you fail to explain game mechanics on a podcast. And that's it really. I mean, I clearly in no way intended to refer to obviously the people that were hurt and killed in the protest over the weekend, and it was merely only sort of the sort of mob mentality thing that I was referring to. So once again, I'm very sorry, and I certainly won't be doing anything like that.
My take on it. I gotta say, when I first saw the tweet, I winced a little bit. Not because of the tweet, but because I thought, oh, here we go. This is when we're going to start getting people. Because, for starters, there's absolutely no way Matt would... someone said, oh, you shouldn't make light of what happened over the weekend. There's no way Matt was making light over the weekend. That was... A, that clearly wasn't the joke. B, it wasn't even if it was of the situation that went down, was it on the Sunday, I think, or the Saturday? Then I would have gone, fucking hell, Matt, that is not cool.
Yeah, well, we don't even need to explain it. It's insensitive.
What I'm saying, Matt, is that the way I see it is that you weren't it's all about intention for me, and it always is with these sort of things. And you can jump up and down and go, that's outrageous, you are disgraceful what you're doing, or you can actually look at what's intended by what you were tweeting out here. Now, if you're offended by it, I'm sorry, and you've got every right to be offended. I'm not turning around and saying that you have, but what I'm saying is that I don't know, just calm down a little bit and just go, oh, maybe that's not that good, lads. When, as some people seem to want the pounds.
That is what basically everyone did. It's like, you're saying it as if people were screaming at us. No one was. Everyone was like, probably don't. That was all... everyone was pretty measured about it, I thought.
It was clear that we weren't making light of what had happened. I say I mean Matt, but I'm defending him here because I feel bad, because we've all done that, haven't we? Where we've all tweeted something and not thought of anything that's linked with, completely either misjudging it, or the intention is so different to what people have taken it as that you think, fucking hell, oh shit. And then when that does come back, you feel fucking terrible. I'm not kidding. You feel absolutely awful. I had a situation with someone where someone had posted a picture of a nice dog, and the very next tweet on Twitter was of an angry dog saying the angry black dog is back or something. And then I just went, whoa, look at the difference between these two, one of those sort of things. And then I've later found out that person was talking about depression, and that's what Angry Black Dog means. And I just felt awful for about a fucking week. You know what I mean? Even though I got in touch with the person concerned, apologised, and they totally accepted it. It was totally understanding. And I just felt fucking awful. So there was part of me just thinking, oh, Matt, man, I know what you're going through. And I know Matt so well that there's no chance of Matt like turning around and going, what about this? You know what I mean? There's just no chance of that happening. So I thought, you know, maybe a good thing to just explain outside of it, unless there's some lingering people like thinking, oh my God, I can't believe they did that. This clearly wasn't what was going on there. But yeah, I assume you felt awful as well, Matt, right?
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, at first I was like, oh, this is the way, and then it wasn't until Phil said, "What the hell are you doing?" I'm like, oh shit, hang on. Yeah, I just totally did not think about that angle at all. So yeah, massive apology, and I won't be doing it again.
What, tweeting?
Yeah, it's been quiet on the tweet deck since then. So
I'll be honest, Matt. If it cuts the memes down, I'm kind of glad it happened. No, okay. Right, okay. What else has happened this week? Not much, really. We should probably get straight to the feedback, should we?
Yeah, I mean, there's obviously a few tweets about my misadventures on Twitter.
What are they saying? Saying what?
6_shooter on Twitter. Is Matt resigning, and who is replacing him? Is it one of the Kane and Rince lads?
No. Who would be the worst person out of us three to tweet from our Twitter feed? Matt, who would be the worst? Like, if you had to hand over the Twitter keys to one of us three, who would be the worst possible? Who would be the one that says, right, okay, he's gone for starters?
I mean, to be
yours,
me.
I mean,
surely.
Your typos, Dave, would just
they are ridiculous.
Almost every tweet you do send, there's also an apology saying, "Sorry, it's not Matt on here today." Yeah. I mean, Sean and James never do any tweeting, so I think
they should be tweets a lot, doesn't he? I'd be the worst person because there just would be no tweets because I just can't be bothered.
Well, surely I'd be the worst person because I'm not even going to be here in a month.
Well, there's that. I think that right. Here's my view. I don't think that I would be the one to take over, right? But Sean would push his agenda. We all know that. Like he's got
agenda.
Oh, Nintendo, great guys.
Okay.
Boo, Microsoft, boo. Nintendo,
I'll do this every time we refer to Microsoft. We'll change the S for a $sign, and everyone will be like, "Oh, he's got him! He's got him there."
Micro shit, yeah, and pony, Nintendo, like whatever. James, would it be too much snark? That's the thing. James is so unpredictable now. Before his Twitch stream, I'd be like.
Before
no
James
way.
blew up on Twitch.com.
Yeah. I'd be like, no way. But now I'm kind of thinking the guy's so fucking unpredictable that he might actually be the saving of the Twitter feed right now. Which is
we should have a rota whereby, 1 week a month, it's like, my week was last week, clearly. And next week, this week's Dave's and then Sean and James, and we'll go on like that.
No, I don't want to do that. Because
I don't think we should do that. I think we just leave it to you, Matt. I think even with that minor faux pas there,
even if I
better, bit better than any of the others.
I mean, we've been absolutely crushing it on socials over last month. So, apart from the faux pas, I mean, who knows?
As bad as you felt about the whole thing, Matt, were you sort of half looking at the follow account to make sure it didn't go down?
Well, yeah, it went down one, and then it went up. So who knows? I mean, yeah. It's a shame because that tweet banged for about the first 30 seconds, and I was like, "Oh shit!" Yeah. And I realised it's just people not found. So once again, I apologise. The Mafro on Twitter. Can't wait for Matt's grovelling apology in the intro. I mean,
it's pretty grovelling.
Yeah. Totally different subject now. Dirty Bristow 71. At Daytonas may have shit tasting cakes, but great tasting games. Thanks for recommending Far Cry Primal. It's chuffing awesome.
It is really good. I so overlooked that game. Probably the most overlooked game of the generation.
Top games of the year last year, did you want to push that? Because you were on about that game constantly for that whole show.
I knew it wouldn't get very far. I thought maybe I pushed it harder than I should have because I thought it was overlooked. I think
because your baby had just gone in the first round.
Well, yeah. I didn't really mind. Like as I said at the time, I didn't really mind about that. Titanfall hurt. I'm not going to lie to you. But I didn't really mind about the others because it was like there were so many good games in there that you guys had put forward. I didn't really care if it was one of mine that won. Once Titanfall was out, I was like, okay, all right, let's just level the playing field. The only problem was the one that knocked Far Cry Primal out was done so in the most bullshit way ever. That you were like, okay, let's listen to your debate. And then we'll pick the better one. And you listen to the debate. It was between me and James, if I remember correctly. I put such a good argument forward. James just went, "Well, it's good, isn't it?" And his game got through. That's what stung a little bit.
Was it Watch Dogs 2 that got through?
It was, yeah.
Fucking hell! I know. I mean, come on, right? This year's going to be different.
This year's going to be crazy.
Well, speaking of this
there's
year,
so much good stuff.
Sean, are you going to make a return appearance?
Oh, he's got to.
Do I?
You're like,
okay.
I don't know what my own name is. You'll be like, what's that? Has there been a game this year? I don't know. The last few months have been mental.
Yeah, I won't have. Yeah, time will have lost all meaning by that point.
Yeah.
So,
which would be even funnier.
Yeah.
We have actually got something planned in the next 4 weeks. So that was the other thing that was at the back of my mind for the start of the show. We're going to throw Sean a baby shower. It's genuinely going to happen. We're all going to go to Leeds. And when's this? The 15th?
Yes, Saturday the 15th of September, 7 p.m. We're going to live stream a show on youtube.com/thecomputergameshow. It's similar to our live PSVR show. If that's on our YouTube channel, you can have a look if you didn't watch it at the time. But yeah, we'll be live streaming the podcast, doing our usual podcast stuff, I guess. And you can, chat and that sort of stuff. And
well, this is what I'm thinking, Matt, is that this little get-together is going to be slightly different to the last, isn't it? Because we're going to have our VR helmet. We're not going to have our VR helmets on throughout the most of the weekend. So I'm thinking, along with live streaming a show, we should just live stream some gaming stuff as well. Just spend pretty much the whole weekend just streaming stuff. I know.
Yeah, why not?
Sean's just done 24 hours, and I'm pretty sure that'll bring back bad memories. But I reckon we should do some of that stuff.
We haven't really got much planned. But if there's anything you guys, I guess, listening want us to do, then feel free to tweet us or email us. But
tweet us ideas. Yeah. I reckon a full season of FIFA by Sean playing as Tranmere, beautiful.
You should be able to get FIFA. Don't know how to play FIFA at all.
Oh, that's the idea behind it. Sean. That's the hook.
We could put it on 2-button mode. That for kids. Where you just only 2 buttons.
How long does it take to finish Beyond Two Souls?
No, I'm not doing that.
Oh shit!
You
can probably do that, man. Because I did Fahrenheit in 2 days. I don't know why I'm using that as a yardstick. I've just decided that all David Cage games are quite short as a result.
I think it's
feel free to email in or tweet in your ideas. But as it stands, we'll probably do a live podcast. But either way, it's there. It's happening Saturday, 15th September at 7 p.m. on Saturday.
Why 7 p.m? If you come here and discuss this with us, might be busy.
7 p.m. Mate. Okay. What are you busy doing, Dave?
Just being around yours and that. Also, again, it's that thing where I that's leaving it quite late to start drinking, isn't it? I'm just warning you. Right, okay. Sorry, let's continue with the feedback.
Sean Thomas, Sean S. Thomas on Twitter. Playing Heavy Rain so ineptly has made me a more anxious dad. James playing Heavy Rain so ineptly has made Sean be a more anxious dad. Feared that he lost his daughter at the park yesterday. So you're making dads everywhere just freak out now.
Do you know something about that? Is I've also been more nervous about that than I would be normally, because I'm just worried that something like that will happen and then I'll look terrible because I spent the whole time taking the piss out of Ethan and then I do it myself. So I'm just being very careful now.
It'd be even worse when, we look at the BBC website and it's and the headline is video game podcaster walks through coward door.
Video game podcaster staring at a couple getting off of each other.
And then you're going to be on the show the week after and we're just going to lay into you. Okay, next.
Pytrick, who are your favourite... we spoke about ASMR last week, of course, because why not? Pytrick has asked what your favourite ASMR people are. And also, do you guys enjoy a combination with gaming? Is that even
no, if I'm concentrating on something else, it doesn't really work. I don't know if you get that, Dave.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. The tutorial in Homeworld which is an old strategy game. The voice for that set me off, but that's because that was in a tutorial and you're barely doing anything.
So when you say set you off, so you're playing, the tutorial starts, the person starts talking, what happens to you?
Literally, it's like this sort of tingly, like pleasant feeling in the back of your head and sort of down your neck. A bit like, those things like I think they're originally called orgasmatrons, but they're with all the little and you put them on your head and you get that weird pleasant. It's basically that. But without any
It is kind of that, but I also get, I really feel it in my legs where they kind of feel hollow. And then what I notice is that my mind starts not concentrating on the video. Like, because I usually watch it with my headphones in and my eyes closed anyway, so I'm not actually watching the video. Yeah. And then my mind wanders to something else and I think about something else. And then from then on, I'm just out. Like I'm in my coma. Yeah. That's it. Yeah, that's what does it for me. But yeah, no, I recommend Dimitri, obviously. I think it's ASMR
massage.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, he's got some good ones. And what is that bloody the cream? There's a channel with just like loads of massage videos. I've told you about it before. I'm gonna have to look it up. Sorry, go on, Sean. You got any other recommendations?
Off the top of my head, I'm looking at my YouTube subscriptions and there's fucking dozens of them. Because it's the weird thing about ASMR is that the more you listen to one person, it starts to wear off. So, like, you'll have a favourite.
Yeah, it does, yeah.
For a certain amount of time, and then it's like, I'm sort of done with them. I'm just having a scan of the list now. GB ASMR is wicked. Scottish Murmurs, Latte ASMR. They all have weirdest fucking names.
Premax, that's the one. Premax, that's the guy that, if you can find the bald guy, he is the best in it.
Why and then there's always bald? What's that about?
I don't know.
All male ASMR artists are bald men.
Stuart Hines, they're not an artist. He's he's an actual masseuse and that. So there's loads of that sort of stuff that's unintentional ASMR. Like, why are we talking about this for so long? Sorry,
okay, so we talked about this way too much. But so, what are the qualities of an ASMR video, and could we do one?
Oh, absolutely.
I'm not doing one.
Honestly, I've thought, like, apart from the fact that I would just feel unbelievably weird doing it, like, there's definitely there's a proper fucking market for an ASMR gaming channel by someone who actually just knows what they're talking about.
Yeah, it's true.
Oh my God.
It's true.
James, you're doing it.
Get this, Matt. There's two sort of well-known sounds that kick people off as well. One of them is SK, which is just someone going, sk, sk, sk. Oh God, even that is like starting to weird me out. And the other one is a pitter patter. You just go pitter, which is a little bit like that guy that goes, I'm just going to put a bit of paper on it.
Okay, I'll definitely look into it.
Matt, you guys, it's amazing.
You didn't send me a link. You said last week on the show.
Well, how about we live stream you experiencing?
How about no? I'll probably get a boner. It'd be weird. Anyway,
Dalton with a big boner.
Dalton DiMartino, new listener. The bickering annoyed me at first, but after a few episodes, I fell in love with it. Thanks, guys. Never change. I listened to a few other video game podcasts, and it sounds funny to say, but the bickering really sets Computer Game Show apart from the rest. Maybe it's just me.
He sounds like my nan in that tweet. It sounds like my nan tweeted in. Well, the bickering's getting a bit much, isn't it? Yeah, that's why I said trust us when people saying the arguing's getting on their nerves. Just trust us. It all works out.
This is what we do.
Soon enough, you'll be wrapped in the drums.
Sometimes.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
I thought it gets on my nerves sometimes.
Yeah, everything gets on your fucking nerves. Go on.
I mean, I guess that's fine, but then what do people do after the first 15 minutes? They just say, it's another gaming podcast. Switch off.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't worry, we've got your download. Download is in the bank. Thanks ever so much for all the feedback. If you want to tweet us, it's at ComputerGamePod or the ComputerGameShow@gmail.com. We'd love any feedback or questions or any suggestions for what we could do on our live show in mid-September.
Cool. All right. Well, then let's go straight over to the news. Oh God, Sean, I bet you've got loads of news over there, haven't you?
Yeah, it's been a good week for people who like niche Japanese shit.
It's been a good week for you.
Hideki Kamiya did a couple of tweets basically saying that the success of Nier Automata is pretty much the only reason that Platinum didn't go out of business this year. After the sort of cancellation of Scalebound and stuff, apparently they were in a bit of a shitter. But Nier Automata did much better than basically anyone expected. And as a result, they're absolutely fine. So that was interesting.
But because I haven't read the article, but do they still do strictly AAA releases? Because I thought they were starting to do much smaller releases and much quicker release dates, and I thought Nier Automata was one of those new smaller budget, quicker releases.
No, Nier Automata is like a full on.
Okay, but I thought Platinum were changing the business model slightly to get out quicker things.
That would certainly make sense, given that they're like obviously Platinum's thing is just good mechanics. Like the games they put out don't necessarily need to have like a big story or anything. Like they could do really well just putting out like really smart sort of arcade style games. So that would certainly work. But yeah, I don't know. What else? Yeah, basically the only other thing I've got is that there's
I'd love it if like that happened on the news, like on the normal news.
Yeah, who knows?
Someone just looks around and goes, "Oh, what else?"
Yeah,
there was a
getting like sheets of paper. Like, there's got to be some fucking news on one of these. Rumor. This was reported by Kotaku. Laura Kate Dale, who's been pretty good with reporting on weird rumors in the past. Apparently, Okami HD might be getting a PS4 and Xbox One release. To which the entire world has gone, yeah, but what about Switch? Which I get, but Okami's one of those games I'm always happy to play it again on a new format.
Is that the one with the dog where you draw stuff?
It's a wolf.
It's a good game.
It's a very good game.
I played the Wii version of that. I know it's not the best one, but it was still...
It's the worst one, is what it is. The Wii version. Despite the obvious, the painting mechanic making total sense with the Wii remote. Yeah, the Wii version is infamous because the team who ported it famously were given a copy of the PS2 version and 6 weeks.
They did a pretty good job in that case.
Considering, it's phenomenal that it even exists. But so I was a big fan of Okami HD when it came out on the PS3. They did tons of work getting everything to look absolutely right, just because it has so many weird sort of visual elements and sort of weird stylistic things going on that, again, weren't properly done in the Wii version. And they made a lot of effort with Okami HD. I had tweets from people saying, "Oh, I hope they don't fuck it up like the PS3 one." I don't know what's wrong with people. You probably listened to the show. Sorry, everyone. I thought Okami HD on the PS3 was fucking spot on. So yeah, up for this if it exists. Switch version would be amazing, but I'm not counting on it.
For me, I've heard this game coming out for various different systems and stuff, so when you hear, it's coming out for this, I'm kind of like, okay. You know what I mean? It doesn't seem big news. And I suppose it's not directed at me, isn't it? I've not played the game, and I don't think I've got any interest in it, even though I've heard
it's basically
why did you not? Because it's like
a really fucking excellent Zelda game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I've just heard loads of people talk about it, and, it's one of those things where you're kind of like, okay, I'm sure, whatever. I don't know. I'm a bad person.
That. It's like Titanfall 2 for me. It's kind of similar to that.
You fucking played it though, didn't you?
I did, yeah.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Smash. Right, so should we just get straight to what we've been playing then?
As well,
I can't wait to hear from James Farley because I know what he's been playing, and you've been banging on about the Sonic cycle for a long time. Has it come true again?
What do you want me to do? Do you want me to go straight into Sonic or any of the other stuff? What do you think?
Most people would have taken that as a cue to start talking about Sonic. I was
going to build up to it.
That is an incredible lack of understanding of what's going on there, James. So I hear you've been playing Sonic. Okay, so what do you want me to do?
That's what I'm saying. Do you want me to go straight into it? Or, all right, I'll just go straight into it. So,
well done. Ooh, we could have cut that whole 30 seconds out.
Baby.
You still can. It doesn't have to.
We know what the podcast, baby.
Well, you've got a sixth sense for radio. James, I'll tell you that.
On to the emails.
Go on.
I was just about to say something then about Matt and the alt-right, but I won't.
Can we not?
Yeah, but to be fair, you have said that you start following that Milo.
Yeah,
guy.
I've unfollowed them all now. I realise they are all wankers. You were definitely right, James.
Thank you.
You don't need to listen to Nazis, do they? Anyway, Sonic Mania is it has broken the Sonic cycle, I think.
Holy shit!
And because the thing is, I mean, I haven't played. I've only played it up to about sort of Zone 5, I think, which is not really that far in. I think it's about halfway. But I really think it's going to be one of those games, though, where it's going to continue to be popular, and it's not going to be another one of those, like, oh, actually, it's a bit shit, like, later. You know, like how we had that with, like, the Sonic Adventure games? You know, like how
Sonic 4 as well, wasn't it? Like, there were reviews for that, like, this is it, guys, it's back, and then...
It's back, yeah, it's okay, you know, they've gone back to their roots, it's fine. And it's like, actually, no, it was rubbish, it's not very good. And, I mean, Sonic Adventure's kind of like that, and I know some people really like that, and I did, when I first played it, I thought it was okay, but in retrospect, it's terrible, it's not a good game. Yeah. But, this is legit good. It's, like, really is very fun. I mean, it's the remix stage, because you know how the whole game, how it's put together, Dave? Do you know anything about it?
I don't really know.
So, what it is it's kind of like, it's been put together by fans, hasn't it? As in, it's like
okay.
Pretty much,
it's like a fan project, but obviously they're good, like, programmers and this kind of thing. And it's been, like, Sega sort of basically said, okay, you can do what you want with it, because they'd already been doing, like, ROM hacks and stuff like that. And
also,
so
Sega are fresh out of ideas. We have tried everything. Just please.
We were thinking about putting retro games on the mobile, so we've been working on that.
Big the Cat out again. No, don't. More fishing.
Don't worry, there is another shitty 3D one coming after this.
Yeah,
so
I know.
They haven't given up. It's still.
I mean, what a
going.
triumph that would be if this has been getting like. I mean, I've seen the reviews coming in. You know, Essential on Eurogamer and stuff like that, and then you just see what's going to come from the 3D one. Like, I mean, they've literally just taken on Sega themselves and fucking bettered them at their own game. Their own game, literally, is fucking hilarious.
So, I mean, what it is they've taken like stages from the Mega Drive games and sort of remixed them to the point where like you'll start playing and you think, okay, I know this. You know, it's like it's very it comes back to you, it's all very familiar. But then there's like twists and it's like changed and levels are really, really significantly different, like, as you go through them. Mostly because, they've clearly, like, designed them so that you can play through as, like, Sonic, Tails, or Knuckles, and they've all got, like, sort of different abilities. Mm. So, it's sort of, works, for each different character. The thing is, I mean, I think a lot of it will depend, like, whether you enjoy it on whether you enjoy certain, like, types of stages that they've chosen to do this with. I mean, there are new ones as well, but there are certain stages in Sonic games that I really severely dislike, particularly the Casino Night ones.
Really? God, they were great.
I've never enjoyed those. I've always hated Casino Night, like, style zones. And also the industrial ones I've never really enjoyed that much either. I've always preferred the sort of, like, the open, sort of, like, in the mountains, that kind of thing. I find them more visually...
Is that a mad opinion, Sean? Because weren't the Casino Night ones, like, fucking excellent?
They're pretty fucking iconic.
I think the music...
I know. I admit, right, I'm saying that they're not... I know that they're not bad. It's just that I don't like the aesthetic. I just don't think it looks nice. And the music always gets on my nerves as well.
Have you got a gambling problem? And does
no,
that, like,
I
make
don't
it
gamble.
back?
That's another thing. I don't do that. It's it's one of those things I'm not really into. But I don't know. I just don't like
you don't do any gambling?
No. We've already had this discussion before.
Have we?
Just do an acca, James. Jesus.
Whackanaccaled.
Whackanaccaled.
Go on. Sean's confused. Go on.
Yep.
Okay. So it's also like the music has been like remixed as well. So like it starts off, you've got like Green Hill Zone, all that kind of thing, and it all the music, the feelings come flooding back and everything. But then it's kind of twisted, but in a good way. I mean, visually, it's really, really similar to the Mega Drive games, and it looks, because I'm playing it on Switch, and it does look good in handheld mode, but on the TV, quite a lot less good.
Really?
Yeah, because it's like blown up, and obviously it's all like pixels, and you can put filters over it.
It's like, all pixels, Sean.
No, it's all like pixelated, you know what I mean? Whereas, you can put sort of filters on. They've got like CRT filters, but they don't look that great, I don't think. So, I don't know, I've been preferring playing it in handheld mode, it's kind of good. But also, I mean...
Have you had any problems with handheld mode? Because you see all those reports about how the handheld mode's fucked on the Switch at the moment.
It's not fucked. That's like a complete exaggeration. All it is that
no,
if you...
On. There has
been the headline on IGN was "It's fucked."
Well, yeah, they might have said that, but if you then read down what actually the problem is that if you press the home button and you're in handheld mode, it takes like a few seconds to respond.
Well, no, they said that on some machines it doesn't respond at all.
Yeah, well, either way, that's not like game breaking. That's irritating.
System
but it's not
breaking.
Like, well, not
actually
really.
The game just refusing to end.
Yeah.
The game's perfect as long as you don't ever try and stop playing it.
If your game means that you can't launch to the home, surely that is fucked, right?
No, because okay, my understanding of a game being like fucked would be that you get to a certain stage and you can't go any further or something like that, or it just crashes. This doesn't crash; it continues. It's it
continues forever though.
Yeah,
James. I mean, that means that you can't play any other game.
Well, no, because from my experience, from me playing it, I've pressed home, and okay, it takes a few seconds, but then it does go back to home. Like on
and let's face it, right? When I was reading that, I did think I was the same. I was thinking this is a bit exaggerated because this is going to get patched well quick. That's going to be gone within like a week or so. I've got no doubt.
I saw that, and I saw the headline, and immediately I was like, oh no, is this going to be one of those things where it's like, you can't like go to a certain part of a level or something, or it like crashes or something like that? But it's not. I don't know. I don't think it's that big of a deal. But I mean, the game also
is. Go on.
It's whatever. Either way, the game also, it's surprisingly tough as well. Like, after the first few zones, I really started, not to struggle, but it's like, it's not a walk in the park. It feels quite difficult. But one of the best things about it is definitely the bosses, which are fantastic. And there's a lot of, like, really good surprises, which are, like, really sort of, like, fan servicey that they've, like, put into it, particularly at the end of Zone 2. It's really... What have you seen that, Sean? Like what they've done?
I haven't. I've seen a lot of people saying, "Oh fucking hell, have you done the boss at the end of Zone 2?" and just not wanting to say anything more than that. So yeah,
there's a bunch of stuff which is all. There's just so many like callbacks to like earlier games and even the Master System games. There's like callbacks to that, which I thought was pretty cool, which is kind of nice. But I mean, the best thing about the game I found in terms of feeling a bit more modern is the bosses, because they are really creative, like what they've done with these. And it's the only aspect of the game that I feel is kind of much more sort of like, sort of modern day to how games are designed now. A lot of the rest of it really sort of slavishly keeps to the original formula. But, there's bosses at the end of every stage this time as well, rather than just at the end of the second one. So, I actually looked forward to each one, because you're just like, I need to figure out how to beat this one. It's less kind of like just hit them. It's like you've got to try and figure out, what the, how to sort of best approach it. But the only thing that I'm not enjoying about it quite so much, and this is something that Andy Hamilton said, and I wish that I hadn't read him saying this, because it kind of drilled into my mind, and now I kind of agree with him, which is...
I usually wish that I never see him say something, so I'm with you there, mate. Go on.
No, it's the thing about after a couple of stages, a lot of the levels are big. Like, they start to get progressively more sort of massive, to the point where they start to feel a lot less focused, and... I can understand why they've done this, and they've obviously done it because each one has to be designed for each character's playstyle. So there has to be an option for, like, Knuckles so he can, like, climb up walls and stuff like that. And it's fine, but I just found that some stages are starting to sort of drag a bit. Like, they're going on sort of 5 or 6 minutes, which for a Sonic game just feels a bit long, and sort of takes away the sort of the immediacy of it. And but overall, this is really good. Like, this is legit good. And
have you unlocked any of the multiplayer yet?
Yeah, I have. Because after you've
What's
played
the multiplayer?
Well, there's a competitive mode, so you can like sort of race against each other. I think in the same way that you could in Sonic 2.
Yeah, I love that. But even like the crazy slowdown in the forest level, it was still fun to like fight the slowdown. It's going to happen now, and we both like in slow motion. But yeah, brilliant fun. I used to play it so much with my sister. It was absolutely brilliant.
So that's pretty good. I mean, one of the things that I'm not sure about is whether you can play the single player game like, in multiplayer. Like you could do that with Sonic 2. You could stick another controller in, somebody could play as Tails. It was rubbish because...
I was going to say...
yeah. It was terrible, but my daughter was watching and she wanted to do that. She was like, can I play as well? And I was like, I kind of wish you could, because maybe you'd like this. My wife didn't like it, and she had a go, and she wasn't that impressed. But she hasn't got any...
She hasn't got any what? I'm going to hear, what has she not got any?
Well, she hasn't got any
hands.
experience of Sonic games at all.
Experience.
So, yeah, she was not that impressed. She thought it was she said it was rubbish. But
You got this right, Matt.
No. I'm a massive Sega fan, so clearly I bought it on... No, I've just been busy.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Is it out today?
I don't think Matt is a Sega fan.
I think he's Sega fan Matt, who always goes on about Sega and then never buys anything they make.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the reason that they're failing.
They've got a Mega Drive handheld. No, I haven't got that. A new Sonic game? No, don't worry about that.
Look, this only came out today, didn't it? I've been busy.
Doing what? You didn't even know when it was out. You just said, when is this out?
I said today, right?
Today, right?
Question mark? Yeah.
Matt, come on. You're letting your Sega fans down.
I will get it, just haven't got it yet, because I'm not a nerd, yeah? Stuff to do.
You're a Sega fan, of course you're a fucking
on day
nerd.
one, jeez, losers.
But it is good. It's definitely worth, like, compared with everything else that's kind of been released for 25 years, this is really good and absolutely worth playing.
I can't wait for Sega to bring their own Sonic game out. It's just like, you know how you get a feeling with developers or in any profession where you're working on something and then someone's going, I could do that better. And you go, well, you fucking try and do it better then. Let's see how you cope, nerds. And then they come out and do a better Sonic game. It's just like, oh, right, okay.
This is published by Sega, isn't it, James?
Yeah.
So it's just that Sega sort of brought those guys on because they were killing it in the mod scene. So still Sega, but yeah, as I think it's going to be hilarious when the 3D one comes out and it's horrendous.
I think that team may be hired to do a complete revamp of Sonic. I mean, the one thing, I think this is terribly shallow, but the one thing that's holding me back from giving this a go is the visual style, because I just kind of think, wouldn't it have been nice if they completely redone the visuals, like, new Super Mario
Bros?
Bros?
They'll save that for Sonic 5, which I guess I call it Sonic 5, right? Because Sonic 4 did come out.
I've got to admit, I kind of agree with you with that, because, like I said, when you play it on TV, it doesn't look that great because of it all being, like, sort of blown up. I don't think it looks as good. And it would have been nice if they'd have, like, sort of retouched it a bit.
Is that an issue with the Switch? Like, or would the PS4 version look a lot better?
I'm assuming it's the same. I doubt that.
Yeah, because it's pixelated by design, isn't
TV,
it?
Yeah.
Okay, right.
So I really can't see myself picking it up unless it comes out in a sale, but I'm glad you're enjoying it, James. I was not expecting that, to be honest with you. Because when I saw the positivity coming out, I was expecting you to come on and go, it's shit.
No, you see, it's weird because before the game came out, I kind of suddenly found myself feeling like, actually, this looks really interesting and I'd quite like to play that. And then it actually did turn out to be really good, and I was kind of surprised. Cause,
I bet you were slightly angry as well.
No, well, I've got Sonic Forces to look. No, I've got Sonic Forces to look forward to for the laughs. It's going to be so.
It's like the end of the Mighty Ducks again.
I like the way it's like a bargaining thing. He's like, well, I'm allowed to like this because there's a shit one on the way later. So
shit one in the bank.
I'll save my bile for that.
It looks like it's going to be brilliant. It's another 2.5D side-scrolling, but also with 3D stuff. But I think it'll be amazing.
That's what we
want. Chuck a werehog in and you're away.
Yeah. See, that's the other thing. There's no like shitty friends in this game either, which is pretty good.
Isn't Sonic and Tails a shitty friend?
No, it's
Tails and Nox are alright.
Yeah, they're okay. It's when they started to do like Big the Cat and Amy and all that. And,
Big the Cat.
Shadow.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, what else have you been playing?
The only other thing I played is, I've been playing Yakuza, but I can't talk about that yet. But Splatoon is the other game I've been playing, which...
Oh, yeah? What's that?
No, because I don't want to talk about this at length, because obviously we've talked about it tons, still playing the multiplayer. But I did finish the single player.
Oh, man, I've been playing a lot of single player as well.
Okay, have you finished it yet?
I'm on the final, the 5 worlds, is there?
Yeah. That's right.
It doesn't do that thing where it goes, no.
No, it doesn't do that.
Oh, good.
It's,
Sean,
did you finish it?
No, I'm on World 4, and there's a couple of levels that are pissing me off.
Yeah. See,
is it the sniper stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, I hate that.
I didn't mind that too much. I found myself sort of cheesing my way through it, if you know what I mean. It's not cheesing, but in the same way that some of the shrines in Zelda are, where you kind of think, I'm not doing this the right way, but fuck it. That's the feeling I got from some of the sniper levels.
I mean, I just felt that most of the level design in most of the levels is kind of like irritating. It feels like a sort of an irritating obstacle course, which it's not. I don't know. I didn't. And also that whole thing about the way that they force you to use certain guns. I know that they're doing that because they're trying to train you how to use it or whatever for the multiplayer. Yeah. But it's also just really irritating.
Yeah. I hated the sniper ones.
Well, but the problem is, because I thought that at the same time, I was kind of like, why is it just forcing me to use guns that I don't particularly want to use? But that's what the basis of the whole level system's about, isn't it? Like, each level is based around things you can only do with that weapon. So it's
I would have preferred to have had, like, the freedom to sort of experiment myself and try and, like, figure out if, using different weapons to sort of get through.
That's a much better idea.
But, I mean, the thing is I didn't really like the standard levels that much, but the boss battles are great. Yeah. They are really good, and also, again, surprisingly tough, like some of them. I mean, the last one it took me a while because I'd forgotten that you could upgrade your weapons. And
shit.
It takes so long to earn the points for them, though, doesn't it?
It does, it really does.
That's another thing which is irritating about it, actually, is that I couldn't, that's one of the reasons why I couldn't bring myself to sort of play it anymore, is because, it's, there's so little sort of reward for it, really, from that. But, like, in the final level, they give you the hero, splat gun, the one that's like, it looks like a Ned Zapper.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, I started trying to do the final boss with that, and it was nearly impossible. And I was thinking, how am I going to do this? And then it flashed up and said, you might want to upgrade your weapons. And I was like, yeah, that's probably a good idea. And then I did, and it was much, much easier. But I just completely forgot you could do that because I'd kind of written it off because I'd initially looked at it and saw how many items you needed, and it was kind of ridiculous. But I know, it's good. And my daughter really enjoyed the threadbare story, which is kind of, it's really strange. She's sort of bizarrely really got into the, like, Callie and Marie backstory. And, like, she just kept asking me questions about it. And I'm like, I don't know. Don't care.
There is actually quite a bit to the...
Thanks, Dad.
If you get into all the Dead Sea Scrolls or whatever they are, there is actually, like, a load of backstory to it. But, I mean, yeah...
I like how I painstakingly try and get into the lore of Blaze and the monster machines, just so I'm on a level with my son. Whereas you turn around and go, I don't know, and don't care.
Obviously, I don't say it as brutally as that, but it's like
bollocks. I've noticed that. I mean, Harry is fully obsessed with Splatoon 2 now. Yeah. Oh God, yeah, Sean, it's insane. We were having a water fight around my brother's the other day, and he was running around with his like water pistol, shooting it at people, saying, "You're blue now."
I thought you were going to say he was just like spraying it at the floor and going, "Yes, I've won."
No, he's not quite got there yet. He did have a go at me the other day because one of them, it wasn't gold. But one of the yellow paints looked a bit gold. It was like a yellowy orange thing. And that was on the other team, and he was really pissed off that my team won because he wanted the gold team to win. I'm like, you're supposed to be supporting me, you punk. But yeah, like, when he's obsessing over something, because when he was playing Mario Kart 8 the other day, he chose the Splatoon boy.
Nice.
Yeah, that's what Rachel's been doing. Yeah. She changed her profile picture now to one of the Splatoon characters.
Oh, really? Oh, God, that's the next step. I never even thought of that. But yeah, I just, like, he didn't even know that was in the game up until, like, last week. And now he's a Splatoon character, Splatoon bike. That's how he's rolling these days. But
yeah. Oh, briefly on Splatoon. I've only played that a bit on and off this week, but I did the selfie thing and it was fucking cool.
Oh, mate, what a great idea that was. Did you nick that from someone? Or was
I saw a couple of people doing it, and I was like, well, surely no one's actually doing it, and then just like looked up the Twitter accounts, like, oh shit, no, they got like 10 people taking pictures with them and sending them. So so for those who aren't aware, so in the main plaza area you can like do little drawings and messages or whatever, and then if people, like, it'll randomly put other players in your hub area, and then you can see what picture they drew. And basically, there's this thing of people saying, like, get a selfie with me, and then put their Twitter handle in it. and then people are just getting screenshots of just the two characters stood next to each other and then tweeting it at the person. And it's just, like, it's shit because it's not like there's like a proper photo mode or anything. It is just literally a screenshot of two characters kind of standing there. But it's just really weird, just like, and really cool seeing your character just appearing in other people's games and then sending the thing to you and being like, all right, oh yeah. It's
the one thing that Splatoon does that I hope's in Destiny 2. You could just like leave a message, and then when you walk around tower, see people's like little messages above their head. But I'm still playing it. I am still playing it. I'm not into it as much as I was. And at one point I was even considering, should I just flog this now? But, cause you still get, a pretty penny for it. But then I'm just like, well, I can't because every Saturday morning now I'm getting shouted at to put Splatoon 2 on. So, and I'm quite happy to play that for a bit. So we're all good. I think that might be here to stay. I think it might be here to stay. Right, okay. Anything else, James?
No, that's pretty much it.
Okay, Matt.
Quite a week for me, but I have been playing No Man's Sky. Perhaps you've heard of it.
It's the return.
It's a return after the 6-week ARG that was happening. I've been discussing my last 2 or 3 episodes. They finally announced and dropped the long-awaited 1.3 patch. And boy, has it got an awful lot of stuff. So it now has a 30-hour story campaign. It's got procedurally generated missions.
We'll get onto that.
Yeah, we will. But let me just read the press release. 30-hour story. It's got procedurally generated missions. It's got like a weird multiplayer-like mode where you can see floating orbs of other people on the same planets as you. Everyone else starts in the same galaxy. Graphically, I think it's had a massive overhaul. I think it looks really, really fantastic now. Planets seem a lot more varied. There's a lot more things to do. Again, we'll come on to that in a minute. You can also, I can't remember what's officially called, but you can basically interact with the landscape. You can basically use your mining gun to carve out bits of the landscape to build bases, beneath the surface and whatnot. There were tons of other stuff as well, but I've been playing about 4 hours or so of that this week, and I've been absolutely loving it once again. Sean, you've also been playing it, haven't you?
Yeah, I've put a ton of time into it.
Yeah, every time I've been online, I've seen you online too. James, have you played it or?
James is dead.
James,
sorry, you cut out for a second.
Oh, did I know?
Yeah.
Have you been playing No Man's Sky this week?
I did go back to it actually, and I started playing for about half an hour or so, and then stopped because I just thought I haven't got time to get into this at the moment. But I still have questions about it that I'm just because I heard this whole thing about this 30-hour long story.
Yeah.
What is that? What is it? Is it good or is
it? So it is. But it involves a lot of shitty busy work.
Oh, it's busy work. The campaign.
Yeah. So on the one hand, all the Atlas stuff appears to have been basically completely rewritten from what I can tell. And then on top of that, there's this other storyline so basically, it was always a question as to like what you are, like whether you're a human or whatever. So it's basically the implication is that there's now like you're part of this race that are just travelers, and it's all about figuring out why you were made and why you all have this urge to just fuck around the galaxy and do whatever. And there are others of you, and it's all about this one guy that sort of appears to have like there's these portals that lead to like other galaxies and stuff, and he's gone through one and then sort of disappeared, and he's like caught between dimensions or something. And basically it's this like when it comes to science fiction, I generally prefer science fiction that like has sort of quite set rules, because otherwise you can just write whatever you want and come up with convenient excuses for things, and that tends to lead to quite sloppy writing. But this is like, it's so far in the realms of just constant, unfathomable shit happening that it's kind of sort of gets away with it. Like this, like because it's just banging on about just constant weird interdimensional stuff. That it's just like, yes, all right, like it's just mad. You start like the idea is you're getting your head around using these portals, and I gather that by the time these 30 hours are up, these are things that you can just use, and you can get around to other galaxies, which apparently are like markedly different from the opening galaxy, which is basically all we've seen so far. But yeah, there's like a couple of bits where you like when you go through a portal for the first time and loads of weird shit happens, and it's really cool. Like it's genuinely very good, but it's interspersed with go and collect some stuff, go and speak to this guy. Oh, you spoke to that guy, but he won't speak to you because your standing with his race isn't high enough, regardless of whatever it currently is. Go to a space station and get some missions from a guy and do some missions to raise your standing. Oh, and by the way, half the missions are just take an item to someone or destroy some sentinels. And
what would they have done that could have improved that?
Well,
because wasn't that the basic mechanic of the game anyway? Was just fucking walking around.
But it's just sort of like, but they were never like that was never the interesting bit, and it just seems more pronounced now that it's set alongside like actual occasional sort of scripted story bits. That makes sense. It's a bit more stark now. But yeah, like generally this is an improvement. I've had a couple of bugs, which is upsetting. Like it takes you on a whole quest line to like set your base up. And long story short, because I'm awkward, decided to move my base to another planet, and then like one of the sort of base building objectives is still pointing at the old planet and the rest are pointing at the new one. So that's sort of broken. I'm hoping they'll fix it. But
have you checked to see if that's like a known issue?
I haven't. I probably should.
Yeah, you should.
I can't imagine I'm the only one who's run into it.
No, there are absolutely tons of other bugs that people have been
really?
discovering and whatnot. So no doubt that's one of a huge proportion of them. But
yeah. And it's, like that joy of exploring hasn't gone. A lot of the planets are still a bit boring, but they do look a lot nicer, as Matt was saying. Like, just the lighting and stuff is just fucking brilliant now. Like, I've been messing around. There's like a fully featured photo mode now, which like literally...
so good.
It's so good. Like, it's, as well as having like, sort of depth of field effects and stuff like that. Like, you can change the time of day by sort of changing a little clock, or you can literally just point in a direction and go, put the sun there. And like, you can just click and just move the sun around wherever you want and stuff like that. That's really cool. I've been like getting into scraps with, sometimes you'll find like a load of trade ships or freighters. And they're being attacked by pirates. I never used to do those because I always seemed to hit the freighter by accident, and then instantly the freighter would turn on you and then you just get destroyed. That doesn't seem to happen anymore. So I'm actually getting involved with those, and then it's like, and then you get invited onto the freighter and you go and meet the captain. It's like, I have some fucking money.
It's also really cool because now you can actually see crash freighters on planets. So you see like huge structures, a bit like the Force Awakens trailer where you see that huge. Yeah, and it's just great to see.
Yeah, they're really good.
They're so much more varied. I mean, I've only been... So obviously a few episodes ago I said that I deleted my previous save and I started again. But again, the people I talked about No Man's Sky say you should delete your save again. But I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. But apparently now it starts with loads of extra questions. Did you start your save again, Sean?
I did, yeah.
So did the start feel much different? Apparently it asks you questions about the Atlas or something else. I got that.
I didn't really know what the answers were achieving, if anything. Because all the questions are quite vague, which again sort of contributes to this weird sort of tone that it has, which I do like. But I don't know if those, like me answering those questions, changed anything at all.
The entire ARG was like that, really. They threw those questions and that sort of stuff. But I didn't start again. So even I've only done 3 or 4 jumps, and the platinum one now, it looks absolutely gorgeous. For the last few weeks I've been playing, I wanted to play to get back into No Man's Sky, and obviously because of the ARG, but the planet, just this first planet I'm on. In fact, I think I might have been on it previously, but now it looks and feels so different. I want to stay there. I want to build my base there. I love exploring. Yes, it's lots of busy work, and plenty of people listening to this might think, well, that sounds shit, but I like the fact that in the distance I can see, now you see little sort of containers a lot on the ground, and you go over there, and anything in inverted commas could be in those containers. Chances are it's just some materials and stuff. And some of the work was saying that they played it and they just got pissed off because some of these containers, when you go to open them, there's like some rusted material on them. So you can either like take the rusted material or discard it just to open it. So he's like, it's just busy work to open another thing, which is more busy work. But it doesn't bother me, at least hasn't bothered me yet. But I like the fact there's lots of things dotted around now, either like crash freighters, crash ships. It feels like there's always something cool or structure or something in your vision, if you look across the landscape, at least on the planet I'm on now. The missions are very much, go here, collect this, build this, jump here. But, for the time being at least, I'm really enjoying it. It's just really fantastic and really fun to be back in that universe. I mean, that literal universe.
Did the ARG stuff, did it play into the game at all? Was there any connection?
So at one point, the portal started appearing, and then that connected to the ARG. There's also, in certain people's games, they had to go to certain locations, and I believe there was a code or something, so it did link to the actual game. It did that, and obviously, they also announced that they're sending out 10,000 physical Atlas level 4 passes. I think I'm on that list, but they haven't made it clear, so who knows? And no one knows what those physical passes will do to the game. I assume they will do something. I guess they could just be like a nice little trinket or whatever, but I mean, it feels like there's so much mystery around the game now. Partly because of the ARG, partly because of the story that's interwoven within this now, but when I first started playing a game a year ago, it was, I'm glad I played it, and it was cool, and it was quite enjoyable. But now it feels like a totally different game, and so many people listen to this, and people not listen to this, of course, have probably just discounted No Man's Sky, saying, "Oh, it's a failure, it's a joke, it bombed, whatever." But they've had a year, and they've done a lot to it, and I'm really thankful that I have. I mean, everyone can talk about Destiny's year one, and that was a mess for loads of different reasons, but they worked at it, and there's the community feedback, and got it to a really fantastic place. And obviously Destiny it's a totally different game, of course, but I'm glad that No Man's Sky the team there are doing the same thing. I just don't think many people are going to say, "Oh, brilliant. Well, it's been a year, but so I'm happy it's a good game now," or whatever. I just think it's not like other games where they're happy that the community's been listened to and changes are being made. I think for many people, this has always just be a failure or a joke of a game, which is really a shame now, a really big shame, because I think it's doing some really, really great things.
Yeah. And it's like, and you got to remember as well, with something like Destiny, obviously that was always bankrolled to be like a 9-10 year thing. So they had to win people over after when the first year went the way it did. With No Man's Sky, they could have just taken the money and just gone, right, we're off. Break up the company somewhere and be like, "Hey, I'm rich now, fuck you."
Let's make another Joe Danger.
But yeah, I mean, obviously, they were never going to do that, but they could have.
Especially after Sony chucked them under the bus. Saying,
exactly.
Developers this and
God, I'd forgotten about that. That was
horrible.
Considering
that, they just starts to the guns. They've made big updates along the way, and now this has come, and it feels like there's so much more still to come. I mean, not that they tease that, but I don't know. They obviously put a shitload of work into that ARG, which they didn't need to do, but they did that to get the community revved up, to build the community spirit back up, it seems. And I mean, particularly obviously on subreddit, everyone's now to a place where everyone's super happy. There's loads of people coming back saying, "I'm going to play this again." Generally, all the stuff on the update and the ARG has been really super positive, and it's not the sort of really toxic, argumentative, horrible place that subreddit was particularly. It's so bad it got shut down at one point. But the sense in the community is that it's really positive and excited to see what happens next. Wherever we are, whether there is going to be whether there is like a 3 or 4 or 5 year plan, who knows? And it's not like Destiny where there was like an annual sort of revenue coming in, not into microtransactions, but with the monthly DLCs, and in this case Destiny 2, so they can do that. And I know I shouldn't be comparing 2 games, but it's just that their first years were so poor compared to what happened later. But
I'd say Destiny's first year was a lot better than.
If you do,
I'd say Destiny's first year was a lot better than No Man's Sky's.
Yeah, and I shouldn't be comparing, I know, but I hope there's more to come, and I hope I keep playing this, because in fact, I wish I wanted to have time off work just to play this. I'm too busy to do it right now, but I wanted to just really get engrossed and play hours of it. I've been loving it so far.
It's very easy to put a lot of time in, which I think is why, again, the busy work thing, to an extent, it's fine, like, because it is just the game, and you start to develop a knowledge of like what materials you need for certain things for your suit or your ship or whatever. But it's just occasionally, like, you'll get in your ship or whatever, and your launch thrusters haven't got any power, and you're like, oh right, yeah, I just need plutonium. Fuck, I haven't got any plutonium. So you hop out. Okay, I'll just do a scan and find some, and then I'll be on my way. And you do the scan, and there isn't any plutonium. And suddenly you're just like, oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, that does get annoying.
It's like, yeah, like, and it's like suddenly you get this awareness, oh, fuck me, I've been playing this for like 4 hours, and I've just got to walk in, I've just got to pick a direction and walk, and just keep scanning and hope I find this one randomly generated resource. And so that's still great. But yeah, if you can, like, if you just, like, obviously you have like your home planet, and you sort of, you pick one you really like, and because you're always going to be going back to it. But if you, like, as long as you just keep moving and don't allow yourself, like, don't allow it to get stale, and just, yeah, it does work. It's just,
the home planet thing's weird because, like I said, the Platinum one now, I love it. I want to stay there. I want to build like a base there, but you can also move your base. But also, the game is always about moving. I mean, even if you ignore the story, you want to keep exploring other things. So it's weird. It's not, is there any benefit really to having a home planet other than the things that the base allows you, like farming? And I'm presuming those are the benefits, right?
I think, yeah. Like, I think it basically gets to a point where it can be like producing materials and upgrades and equipment and stuff for you. But I've never got that far with the base building stuff. Isn't there apparently there's like clan stuff in it now? I've no idea how you even unlock that. And apparently you can have like a clan base, and like, you never see each other in it properly, but you can have like a little shared base and stuff. But yeah, like, I know what you mean. It does sort of feel like it's cool that it's there, but it doesn't necessarily feel essential. Like, it's weird. So yeah, like, once you've built a base, for everyone else's sake, once you've built a base, every space station you go to has a portal that you can go in and warps you straight back to your base, and then from the base you can warp straight back to whichever last station you were at. So you can always just, like, it doesn't matter how far you travel, you can always get back, which is good, obviously, because otherwise you would just leave your base behind. Oh, I'm never going there again, because it costs resources to get around. But and it's cool because it gives you this. You get an idea of how big the universe is, rather than just going planet to planet to planet and just not really giving a shit. You can then look at a map.
So disposable initially.
Yeah, whereas now it's like you can look at a map and be like, oh shit, my base is over there, and that's fucking years away now. And there's something like, suddenly you start getting a sense of scale that wasn't there before.
Yeah,
which, even though it's literally just like, here are 2 points on a map, So I like it. But
in terms of the multiplayer, like I mentioned earlier, so basically there's these things that they've called glitches. I presume that's just still playing into the sort of mystery around the ARG and whatnot. But basically, these glitches allow up to 16 players to see each other, but they're just represented by these glowing orbs that bounce around. But if you're in close proximity, you can talk over. I guess. Well, it says you can communicate via VoIP when in close proximity. So I presume it's just your mic and whatnot. The comment from Hello Games is that while interaction with others is currently very limited, it's an important first step into the world of synchronous co-op in No Man's Sky. So
it's a bit weird that a year in they're still talking about first steps, but yeah,
who cares? I mean, yeah, the idea of being able to visit planets and explore together is cool, but No Man's Sky is great. I liked it before, and I love it more now. It looks gorgeous. It sounds gorgeous. That feeling of exploration and setting on new planets is absolutely fantastic. And
the soundtrack as well, man. Holy shit! You forget.
There's new tracks, isn't there now? There's new tracks from.
There are. I was going to ask if you knew, because I've definitely been hearing things, and I'm thinking like I don't recall this.
Yeah, I don't know how many, but they said that there's new music. This time.
And yes, proper good.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it. I wish more people were playing it, but I think a lot of people. It's already gone for them. But
isn't it?
Yeah,
it's been game. Like a tenner in a PSN sale, hasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was £8 at one point recently. But
I mean, it's totally worth that if you're on the fence and like maybe you played it a bit a year ago and sort of enjoyed it, but then traded it in or whatever. I would definitely.
I do wish I had this digitally. I've got on discount, and like the idea of just quickly jumping in and quickly like going from planet to another, and then I mean, I if it was super cheap again digitally, I might get it because it's brilliant.
Yeah.
One more question, but have they done much to the animals and the looks of the animals themselves?
This was, I mean, this was actually improved in a previous patch, but I mean, I don't know what you think, Sean, and judging from that tone, I'm going to assume you think it's not too positive, but the way the algorithm has worked, and I've mentioned this certainly last episode or the week before, but it feels like they're much more designed now, and also much more varied. Sean, you're going to say the opposite, I presume.
They are. Yeah, it's definitely been an improvement. Just I'm still getting ones with like tiny heads and giant bodies and just, I don't know, just stuff that looks kind of funny and weird. But it's not like, I mean, that never ruined my enjoyment of it anyway. I don't think it was always all right.
I think it did a little for me because I wanted to see new species and all that sort of stuff, and it just felt like it was a dice roll more than anything. I never saw a creature that I thought, oh, that works as a physical being. They were always like, oh, why?
But the creatures now, I mean, so pre 1.3 patch, I said that I felt like the algorithm was improved and it felt like they're a bit more designed. But I've seen pictures since 1.3 on Reddit where there's some creatures are absolutely massive, like 50, 100 feet tall creatures. I haven't seen those yet myself, but I feel like there's a lot to see now in this game, and also there's proper, huge mountains rather than just some mounds here and there that look slightly different.
Yeah, they are
much more varied landscapes and much more, and landscapes that feel a bit more real rather than just the algorithm spinning the dice. What's coming out of that?
It's such a weird thing. I don't know if you get this, Matt. Like when you jump in between planets, the ones that are the most stunning are the ones that just kind of look like Earth.
I was about, the planet I'm on now, it looks amazing because it's got green grass, it's got little rivers. I think you're right there. Maybe because they're not so abstract and
possibly.
Yeah, I don't know. But also, so it's got I don't remember it probably did happen before, but I never realised it. But now it's got a proper day-night cycle.
Yes.
Was this in before?
That was always there. Yeah.
Okay, well, no, that seems really pronounced, and suddenly, like, oh wow, it's night time now. And then, particularly on some of the planets I've seen since, it feels like, the one I'm on now, it feels quite neon in that suddenly, even when it's night time, I feel like I see lots of bright lights and lots of really vibrant colours from the foliage and animals and whatnot.
Because you can get some planets that like during the day the temperature might be all right, but then at night it's freezing, or like during the day it's too hot, but then at night it's absolutely fine. So it's like depending on sort of the temperature of the planet, there are some where it's like nighttime is when you go out, or it's when you have to like stay somewhere and hide, which is cool. But
if anyone's listening to this and you maybe enjoyed it a bit, but you weren't mega fast, I'll definitely recommend giving it a go if you see it cheap or something online or in CX. Have you still got it, Dave, or did you sell it?
Definitely boot it up at some point, I think. Just to see.
Yeah, it's like a 12 gig download, so do it the night or so before you want to play it.
No, my internet's sorted now, and take me.
It's on Virgin Media, mate. It'll be fine.
Sorted.
Dave, you get a. Oh, you're going to say the same thing?
No, you're. In Destiny 2, you get an exclusive Virgin Media Sparrow. You lucky fuck.
Oh, I did see that. Yeah, I saw that.
I mean, I'm changing my ISP now, so.
This is what makes me laugh, is that these things are supposed to be exclusive to try and, market different products, but when there's pretty much exclusivity for anything, it kind of loses its edge a bit. Hey, what was it? It's gone from, oh my God, I might get that because I want to get this exclusive thing, to, right, okay, what of my services do I get? Like, well, it's just so fucking bizarre the way they're doing it. Do you want pancakes? Pancakes? Like... Right, have a free fucking thing. What's that?
I was in Tesco and I was like, I wonder if I should get a Rockstar can, and look down at my trolley with like bread, crisps, milk, and all of them had Destiny exclusive things. Like brilliant. Semi-skimmed, free skin. Free skin. But I do seriously want to buy some Rockstar Energy. So why not?
Okay, cool. Right. Is that it for this week, Matt?
I mean, I'm heavily addicted and back into Fire Emblem Heroes. I've been saving up 270 odd orbs. I spunk them all in this Hero Fest with old and new heroes. Got a whole new team. It's brilliant. I'm so good. Honestly, that game never left my home screen. It was always there every day for a check. But now, I play it a lot.
Can I say one observation?
Hit me.
You spoke about this game a lot, right? And even now, you've returned to it and you're heavily addicted in that. Don't actually talk about playing the game, Matt. You talk
about just collecting crap.
Yeah,
it's about upgrading your people. It's about collecting orbs, doing daily missions. I mean, the game itself is super simple. But the game itself is like, it's like that turn-based strategy grid with your various people and their abilities. And then there's loads of new little challenges now where you've got you've got the same 4 people and you got to go through 7 maps and your HP doesn't renew after each one. So yeah, loads of great modes. Obviously, no one's really going to play it, but what a game! What a game!
No, it sounds like
does the HP renew if you pay money, Matt?
Ooh, cutting
satire.
Right, okay. Who hasn't gone? Sean, go on.
Just No Man's Sky. That's
cool.
it.
All right, Dave, you'll go. David.
Sonic. Do I do Sonic?
I have been playing. Well, there's 2 games I've been playing. Quickly, I played Banjo-Kazooie on stream, James. Are you proud of me?
I was really pleased, and I watched some of that, actually. I thought you did a fantastic job.
I do not agree. I watched some of it back, and it was just me swearing a lot.
It was great.
It was no heavy rain stream. I mean, I've said it before. I said it again. There's just no comparison. I don't even know how you do it.
James has set the bar too high now.
He has.
I don't understand this at all.
Not be as good, is it?
It was fine.
No.
Now what we're going to do.
There was quite a few people saying, how the fuck do you remember this stuff? I don't remember. It's weird. It's like I suppose, I don't know, a net is the best way to describe it, because there's loads of little bits that I was like, oh my god, how did I remember? Like, I was running past a rock and I went, hold on, there's a Mumbo token behind that. Pop round there was a Mumbo token behind it. And then there was stuff like, I saw a pool of water and I thought, there's definitely a Jiggy at the bottom of that. No, there's not. That's really weird. In my head, there's a Jiggy at the bottom of that. And then there was a pool of water next to it, and it was at the bottom of that one. I was like, fuck, I really am remembering stuff. And then there's stuff that just isn't in my head. Like, I remember this always being a problem. I couldn't remember where the actual entrances to the levels were. And if for some reason they're all just in different places in my head, so when I'm going to them, I'm like, how do I get to that again? But I think, I don't know, I proved that I played that game a lot, I guess. A lot of people in the chat were going, actually, yeah, you seem to know this game pretty well. And I'm like, well, 25 times, mate.
It's funny because you sort of, like, because that'll be sort of 70% actually remembering it, and then 30% will just be, like, the time you've spent with it. You've just sort of, you just sort of start to get, like, the designer's ethos or their approach to it. And it's not necessarily that you're always remembering things, but you just clock that, like, well, hang on, they wouldn't have put that there if there wasn't something behind it, or they wouldn't, and you get in tune with it, don't you? Like,
and the ethos with Banjo-Kazooie is that if there's something behind it. I mean, even, like I said, you go back into Banjo's house at the start, and I was thinking, there's definitely something here. Like, there's definitely something in this room. And there was one of those trophies where it was like an extra life or whatever. And I'm like, oh god, shit, it's just, that's it with Banjo. It was such a collectathon that pretty much every nook and cranny has got something to collect in it,
So, Dave, how did you feel the game holds up, though? Like, do you still
still love it. I still think it is absolutely brilliant. I mean, the controls are probably worse than I remember. I think that's genuinely partly down to it being played on an Xbox pad, because that Z button was so prominent on the N64 one. You had one button by your left index finger, not two, plus two on your right. So I was doing a lot of moves, but I was fucking it up a bit. And the way that pad was laid out as well, it was essentially 2 buttons. And then you had the C buttons just above it for the camera. So you were really focusing on 2 buttons plus the L and Z the R and Z button. Whereas on this, it's a little bit more confusing because they're scattered across the pad. But I love the humour. I still think it looks great. Obviously there are limitations. The funniest was when you stand at the top of, the first level on the mountain and you look at the skybox and it is like they just haven't bothered. It's just, I'll just put some blue there and a cloud just a cloud, or no, just make it look really shit. Just make the shittest cloud you can and whack it on there. Fuck 'em. That's there's all that, but it doesn't matter. Like the gameplay idea, the idea behind the game was genius, and the fact that really the only competition or the only thing to compare it to when it came out was Mario 64, and what they took. But like Mario 64 is a classic, no doubt, but how they expanded on that so quickly after Mario 64 came out. Like, it must have been so easy to just go, you know what Mario 64 did? Let's just do that. And they didn't do that. Like, they added so much to the concept that, and it absolutely nails everything it does. Of course, there are some, nitpicky things about it, but they're so of their time, like, accidentally missing ledges and stuff like that. You don't get that so much in modern day 3D platformers. On Banjo-Kazooie, it just don't give a fuck. It goes, yeah, there you go. You've fallen off, go climb up again. Yeah, but that was it. Jesus, on the second level, the shark in the water, just completely unforgivable in this day and age. It's just, you go into some water and then you just get bitten, lose a bit of health, and it's just like, oh, for fuck's sake. It's just frustrating more than anything else. But again, totally of its time. I still think it's a classic. And, I prefer it to Mario 64, and I hold Mario 64 in very high
That's
regard.
A funny statement to make, Dave.
Yeah, I really like Banjo, and I played it quite recent, about a year ago with Rachel, and she really liked it as well. And it does. I agree. I think it does still hold up. I mean, Banjo-Tooie. I did you ever play that? Because I played.
No, I didn't. Believe it or not.
See, I played it and I hated it. I really didn't like it at all because they had like massive levels, and it was really confusing about where you were supposed to go and all that kind of stuff. But Banjo felt like exactly everything with that game felt like spot on. But I don't know. I still think Mario 64 is better.
I'm not saying that this is necessarily a better game, but I do prefer it.
But it is a personal preference thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it totally is. I think you'll find that there's quite a few people that probably liked it more. I don't think it's as controversial as opinion as you might think.
Yeah,
there are people that just like because Mario 64 was, and I have to keep saying this, it was fantastic. Obviously, the humour with Banjo and the characters were just so special. The characterization in the Mario 64 games, there was nothing there really other than. That's unfair to say because it was all in the animation, but there wasn't anything deeper than these characters doing these. The only thing you can really compare it to is these Disney style things across this world. You did care about the penguin and his baby, and her baby. There's no doubt about that, but Bottles and Banjo and Kazooie, when they're all firing on all cylinders, it's fucking genuinely really fun to read and sort of just get the character, because that Kazooie's a narky little shit, and Banjo is pretty much just a vessel throughout the whole thing, but it's the characters around him interacting with each other I just really like. It's just so good. I mean, yeah.
Are you gonna play any more? Are you gonna
possibly? I'm playing something else at the moment, so if I get the chance to go back to it, I will. I would quite like to finish it again, but we'll see. I've taken down all the notes about the what the fairies say to you throughout the game for the final, so I'm back up for it. That was another thing as well. Like, to finish it on that quiz is just so good. That little game show at the end. It's just so out of left field and not what anything was doing at the time. There wasn't a big boss at the end that you're battling away at. You're playing a game show. It's just really clever. I love it. So I played that. I haven't really got too much else to say about what I've already said, more than I thought I would. I've been playing Agents of Mayhem, the new Deep Silver game, which is a spin-off of Saints Row, I guess, is what people are describing it as. I mean,
isn't it? So presumably they lost the license, but they just wanted to make it.
I don't think they have.
Oh, okay.
Because there's characters from Saints Row in it. They're using Saints Row imagery in it all the time. Like the that sort of the scout symbol. I don't know what you call it, but that's used all over the Saints games. That's the icon for this game as well.
Yeah.
And that's my general feeling towards this. I've put in about 3 to 4 hours, so I'm still relatively early on, I think. The concept is, let's make a Saints Row game, let's make it more of an RPG. So you're building a team, you're leveling them up, you're picking who you want to take out. Like, I mean, you notice it instantly when you're firing at characters and there's numbers coming off them and stuff like that. It's the idea is that you're no longer part of the Saints crime crew or whatever. You're superheroes, and you've all got your own abilities. You start out with 3. You take out a team of 3 with you. You don't see the other 2 characters as you're running around. You just walk between them. So you sort of press left and right on the D-pad, and you suddenly morph into one of the other agents. Each have their own abilities, their own characters, all that sort of stuff. And then as you sort of start to build your team with different agents as you play through the game, and then you start swapping people out because you prefer someone else, and stuff like that. And yeah, that's it. You sort of warp in and out of the open world thing, but it feels more like a Destiny open world rather than I'm pretty sure it's an open world where you can go anywhere, but you've got a base and you walk to that, you do all your stuff like leveling up, and then you walk back into that open world and specifically do a mission, and then you come back and there's a little bit of story here and there. My overall feeling from this so far is that it's one of the most confusing games I've ever played, and the reason being is that this is the only way I can describe this, and I don't like saying this because I think it's a terrible thing to say. I think it's disrespectful to the people that worked on it and everything, but I don't know why it exists. And what I mean by that is that I don't know what it's aimed at. I don't know who it's going for. When I initially loaded it up, it shows you a sort of cartoon intro, beautifully animated, and you're sitting there going, I see what they're going for. This is a Saints Row game for kids, essentially. Although it's got guns in it, the humour of Saints Row has been stripped out. The whole prostitutes and saving prostitutes from crates, and the sexual stuff, dildos and all that sort of shit is gone. And they've stripped that clean and said, okay, let's put out something that can appeal to a younger audience a little bit.
That's such a shame, because it's the dildos that's really keeping me playing Saints Row.
Well, this is it. And I mean, there was a lot of people complaining about that sort of humour in the Saints game. And I'm not on board with that, because it always felt like I've played all of them, I think, apart from, I barely played one, but I did play it. And that didn't really have that same sort of thrust of humour behind it anyway.
Thrust.
You know what I mean? That wasn't the main thing. I mean, they turned into sort of carry-on games, basically. And if I had the feeling with all of that sort of sexual humour and all that sort of stuff in it, it kind of felt like it was laughing at games and the way it treats sexuality and stuff like that at that point. That's the sort of feeling. I mean, I don't think they were genuinely saying, "Oh, prostitutes deserve to be in crates and you deserve to save them." It was more like, look around you, this is what's happening in games. That's the feeling I got anyway. So as I was playing this, I was thinking, okay, it's stripping that clean now, and it's presenting a more sort of younger audience sort of game. And then like the effing and jeffing starts, like it is, it's just, the swearing just comes out of nowhere, and it kind of hits you, because you're kind of like, I've just watched a cartoon, I've just watched a little bit of like friendly banter. Where has this come from? Now I'm confused. Are they expecting adults to get behind the wacky, inflated superhero stuff behind it? Because I'm not 100% sure they will. I don't really know what's setting this apart from Saints Row, other than the Saints not being in it. Which, as I gather, apparently they are a little bit later anyway. So it's kind of like, I don't know what they're going for.
Yeah.
Is it in any way funny at all? Like,
I've laughed several times, and this is the other thing as well. So with each character, there's a personality. Obviously, the 3 you start with, there's a guy who's a shotgun kind of. He's not brainless, but he's sort of straight out of like a black character in a poor action film, but more of a satire than sort of just offensive, if you know what I mean. And quite lovable. Some of the stuff he comes out with is fucking good. There's Hollywood is the sort of main character and sort of been the main sort of focused character. He's clearly the best and the one that they've put the most time into, because he's a action hero from the films that's become a superhero, and he's just full of ego. He's not listening to what anyone says, and some of the stuff he comes out with is just very funny. There's this whole thing, like they've got a Uranus joke where one of the evil guys is trying to take over a planet, and he keeps asking if it's Uranus. And at first you roll your eyes and go, oh, it's a Uranus joke. I'm 12 again. Maybe even I'm 8 again. Listen to
I'm playing Saints Row the Third again.
I'm playing Saints Row the Third again. But then he keeps doing it, and it gets to the point where he's like, actually, that's well played, because now it's funny. Now it's funny, right? Because the joke's on him, if you know what I mean. It's weird. And then some of the other characters that come along, they all seem a bit Overwatchy, cliche, a little bit, sort of stereotype, but never cross the line, if you know what I mean. So the only problem that I've got is that when I'm playing a section, I'm hearing what my character's responding to that situation, and kind of wish I switched to another one to hear what they had to say about it at that point.
Right, so you're constantly missing out on what your other two characters might have.
It feels like that, yeah. And there's certainly characters that you don't give a shit about, that you kind of like, actually, I don't really mind that they're not in this scene. But there's still somewhere it's like, actually, I wish I switched to them at this point. And yeah, that gets a little bit frustrating. And because there's a lot of switching of characters, you never really feel that you genuinely start to like one. As much as I'm liking Hollywood, I'm kind of like, actually, I can't really get into him, because there's another one that I need to switch to for this action bit, and I'm missing, he takes a back seat during that bit, and it's weird. It feels unfocused. And the weirdest thing that, covers this whole game is that it's all about free characters with free abilities that you constantly switch between, and there's no co-op. It's single player only. And even, the Saints Row games had co-op play.
Yeah, it's fucking great. It's really good fun.
But this is just, you've just got it's just you. And you just kind of think, I could understand the amount of characters they put in this if it's all going on at once. Why isn't it? It's just bizarre. But there's no getting around the fact that it's quite fun to play. The only issues that I've really had is that the frame rate is fucking shit for what it looks like, because it's stylized. It feels a lot like Crackdown. It's got that sort of cartoony comic book sort of filter over it. But that doesn't help the frame rate at any point. It still chugs quite badly, quite regularly. And even when it's running at what I assume is 30 frames, I was never I can't believe this is 30 frames, it needs to be 60 sort of guy. But I said when we were playing Splatoon, actually, when you go back into the town after experiencing 60 frames for so long, you go back into the town and you're walking around, you're like, oh, fuck, that's really noticeable, actually, isn't it? And because most games run at 60 frames now, when you go back to a game that's solely 30, especially a game like this that has, it's a big playing space, there's lots of explosions going on at the same time, that it kind of, it's really noticeable, and a bit frustrating. So, that side of it's not very good, but the actual point-to-point action, going to a place, getting into fights, it's got like a 2 ability system, so you hit right bumper for sorry, or R1 for your sort of short ability, your quick ability that you can, so it could just be a missile launcher or whatever, and once you've built up enough I don't know, XP, I guess you want to call it that way, probably not that, then you pick up an item and you can hit L1 and R1 and you do a mega super move which can take people out, and then you can swap those super moves as well. The more you upgrade your characters, you can switch them out for other things and stuff, so you feel like not only can you build your team, you can build individual characters. That stuff is all great, but I don't know, like, when I review a game, I'm thinking, how many people could I recommend this to? Can I truly recommend this to everyone? Can I recommend this to people that like the game, this style of game? Yes, I think I can. But can I recommend it to anyone other than those people? Not really, because it feels that it just feels strange. It just feels that if you're playing a game like this, then it might as well be a Saints game. And without all the weird, wacky shit that comes along with a Saints game, I don't really know what they're going for. I don't know what the pitch was like for this, other than let's add some RPG elements to a Saints game. And then someone going, should we, Saints 5? No. Let's just make new characters. Why? Let's just do that. But yeah, as I say, 3 to 4 hours in, I'm going to play a lot of it. And I just hope that it starts to show its hand a little bit more. Like, this is why this exists. And at the moment, it doesn't. It's just a fun little thing to fuck around with for a bit.
It's so sad because I remember just seeing a ad for it on YouTube, just prior to watching something else, and saw about 3 seconds of it, and yeah, just that sense of who's this for? And again, like I say, it seems really mean, but sometimes when you see a game and you're just that's not gonna sell. That's not. I don't know anyone who would see that and go, it looks like my shit. That looks all right. It's just, weirdly lacking an identity. Exactly it. That's exactly the feeling I get from it. I'm just kind of who's going to be buying this? Who's going to look at it and say, I really want that? And if you're bang into your Saints Row, then you'll enjoy this. I've got no doubt about that. I think you'd prefer another Saints Row rather than this. But I think you'll enjoy it. Again, if it was co-op, I totally understand it more, because you're building your characters and rocking alongside someone that's built up one of theirs works. I could see that working, but with that with that not existing, I'm why is all this other shit in it? I don't get it yet. Hopefully it comes together a bit, but we'll find out. I'll hopefully have more to say about it next week. And that's it. Let's get to the emails and questions. James Farley.
Okay. Hi all. You know
Hi,
how sports games have attributes for each player, like speed, shooting, passing, acceleration, dribbling, etc. So if there was the computer game show video game, what would the player attribute categories be? That's from Nick Hannon.
When I saw this, I thought actually a better way of putting this would be if we were top trumps cards.
Yeah, that's
what would
I
the
was
category
thinking.
be? And who would be the top trump? I mean, cynicism and optimism.
Definitely, you can't beat me on cynicism.
James and Matt for those
snarky comments.
Sex appeal. I think I'd trumps on that, right?
Twitch stream ability.
Oh god, James would smash that out of the fucking park.
So hang on, wait, no, you need Bant, but you need two different ones. You need Bant brackets podcast and Bant brackets streaming.
Good point. Although his Bant wasn't that great.
I don't think James has a Bant. He's just got the razor sharp wit. I don't know what he's got.
Same thing. I don't know what he's got. Cynicism on Twitch works.
Fascinating creature. Fascinating specimen.
Well, social media skills would have been Matt's, but we might have to rethink that card.
Yeah, well, if there's a 2017 update,
Update
the new deck, guys. His stats have been
slashed. Matt's been nerfed to shit.
Been nerfed to hell.
I don't know.
Probably,
I don't know for sure.
Biggest dick.
Yeah, I mean, we can, in a month's time, we can put that one to bed as well. We can
compare. Who do you think? Well, mine's disappointing. I'll be honest. I'm not going to be trumped on that. I've seen Matt's.
You haven't seen all of it, have you?
I think I have, yeah.
Well, hang on. Was he at full mast?
Well, was I asleep?
No, I think you were taking a piss. And
why were you looking
I saw
at
it. When I can't remember. There must have been a reason.
It's just difficult to avoid saying it.
Why was that going on?
I remember being impressed, Matt, so don't question it.
Let's not.
Yeah. What else? I don't know.
Alcohol tolerance? Sean's will be pretty low, I imagine.
Doomed.
Mine's dropping, but I think I'm still probably the best on that.
Yeah.
Right. Because Matt, because remember James just gets smashed after 2, right?
It's true.
Do you remember we used to go on our little weekends to Leeds and James would just be staggering home?
Yeah, when it was like 3 a.m, and it's like, it was ridiculous. And I had kids by that point and you didn't. And it was like, it was not fair.
It's not fair. We're cheating. But then Matt would throw up everywhere, so I guess I'd win that one. I'm pretty sure I'd win that one.
Speaking of kids, can we have virility as a stat? Because James is going to take that one. Still, most kids just can't stop him.
I don't want any more. It's not happening.
It depends. We'd have to delve deep on that. I don't think.
What, getting to sperm count and stuff?
Well, because I'm pretty careful, like overly careful. So,
triple bag David over there.
Yeah. They call me the triple bag. Yeah. So I don't know how potent I am, to be honest.
You know what's going into.
Next question.
He's worried, like walking around, getting just women pregnant by looking at him.
With a wink. Go on.
Did you say wink? Okay.
Okay, next one is from Mark Rea, and he says, just wanted to ask you all what's going on with the worrying trend in the last few episodes of depressing gamer dads emailing in moaning about their kids. It's pretty obvious. It's because it's the summer holidays. And it's like, there's reasons
I read
for
this,
it.
and he's absolutely right. There is a lot of moaning about parenting on this show. I like to think that it's quite difficult to moan about being a dad in front of people, in front of anyone. And because we're quite open with that, the listeners have joined in. And that's great. If you want to moan about your kids and being a parent on this show, then I'm totally for that. That's great. For those of you that are listening and thinking all they do is moan about their kids, you have to understand that there will always be a caveat at the end of it saying, yeah, but it's worth it. Like, we don't even need to say that. So if it sounds like we're moaning, we fucking are, but, don't worry about it. We do still like our kids, I guess, apart from James.
It's not true. I do mostly like them.
Is that what you put in their birthday cards and stuff?
Yeah.
You are mostly okay.
Yeah. I mean, you've got to say the power of being a parent, that a monkey can jump on your car, rip off the windscreen washers off your vehicle, and you don't mind because it's making your son laugh. That's that's a lot of power. Need to go back to QuickFit.
Yeah.
Fucking
to answer the question, like, obviously you guys all being dads, me becoming one, it's something that comes up, and obviously it's something that people hear the show and want to contribute to, I guess. That's part of like the audience we've cultivated, I suppose.
And not only that, it's more entertaining to moan about it as well, isn't it? Yeah. I mean, you if we had emails from people going, I love my kid, he did this, you'd be like, oh, fucking hell. Probably going to unsubscribe.
Because I guess you're always sort of aware of, like, not just going into kids say the funniest things, right? You just sort of, obviously the kids will do loads of things that you think are hilarious, but then you go to other people and they're just like,
It's really hard to judge that stuff. It's really hard to judge whether this is worth telling. If this is an anecdote or something that you just need to keep to yourself.
I've always been, like, just super aware of that, which is why I've always come off as being, like, I hate my kids. Because it's like, I've gone too far the other way. It's like this. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
Okay, next one.
Yep.
Okay.
Smash.
Actually, it mentions that. Hello, chaps. We've been chatting about fast food on the Discord. Shout out to the Smash guys. And
is that
just
what they call themselves now?
Yeah,
Smash guys.
I just wondered, what is the perfect gaming snack? I'd like to say pizza, but greasy pads are the worst. So I've settled on anything you can fork into your mouth. For example, pasta or kebabs on chips. P.S. Congrats on the banjo stream, David. Absolutely floored by that speed run. That's from Oodles of Quim.
Thanks, man.
Just before you start, Oodles of Quim and also Kieran are two mods now we've got on our Discord, just because things kicked up. Loads of
because
messages
Sean
happening.
started, like, he invited all these, like, dodgy racist mates in, didn't he?
Sean tweeted, it kicked off on Twitter, then that kicked off into the Discord, and we were getting our tweets saying, Matt, Dave getting in out, and then, things were dealt with. But Oodles, Okrim, and Kieran are now 2 of our mods in the Discord, so get over there if you want to be modded to fuck. No, it's good.
That was insane. I opened up the Discord and it was like, there are 670 messages.
Yeah. And that was in like the space of 2 hours, if that. Yeah. I mean, every time I go in there now, there's like 150 messages, and I check like a few times a day. So again, if you want to get involved in our Discord, there's a link on our Twitter account.
So what was the gaming snacks? I don't really eat when I'm game, to be honest with you.
Not anymore.
So, I mean, I can't really help you there.
I try and limit it, especially if you're like talking on chat, but it has to be something like Skittles where there's no grease. It's just pop them in. You can't have crisps because of the crunchiness. You can't have anything greasy like crisps, really. I mean,
even biscuits.
See,
pushing it
if
on.
I'm eating, I like to be sort of like concentrating on eating, like at the same time. Because I enjoy it, and it's like if I was gaming at the same time, it'd be like 2 things that I really like doing, but like I'd be doing both of them badly, probably.
Yeah, it's like I think it was. Denton was saying once like that he personally doesn't understand people who like watch TV while they exercise, because to him that's just ruining 2 enjoyable activities. You know?
But I'm assuming that the people that do that are not really a fan of exercising.
Well, exactly, they would not exercise. Yeah, like obviously, yeah, but it's just that thing of like, well, I'd rather just eat or just play a game.
I'd tell you what, right? If I had to choose though, if someone's saying, look, you need to snack and play a game. It's just got to be crunchy M&Ms, man. I'm all about them at the moment. I can shovel them in my gob all day long.
Yeah, but you can't play you can't chat when you're like crunching things, really.
Oh, he can.
I could chat whenever. There's no stopping this motor mouth. I'm
a Skittles guy. One time I ate a massive bag of. I was round at a mate's and we were playing games for hours, like into like 3 a.m. or something, and I ate a massive bag of Starburst and got really bad trap wind. So there you go.
Cool. Yeah,
Warning from history.
But don't you just find like M&M's chocolate? The chocolate is just really horrible.
No, it's addictive.
It's fucking chocolatier over here.
No, it's just no.
No, I know what you mean. It's not great.
It just tastes really poor quality chocolate. I just don't like it.
No, it's not. It's not. It's still good.
I like the peanut ones are fine. It's just the regular ones not so good.
Yeah, the crispy one Dave's talking about are so nice. The ones in the blue bag, I can easily get 2 bags, easy.
Yeah, ridiculous. I like the Oreo dairy milk. That's probably my favourite.
That's also great.
Yeah, that's also great.
Yeah. Snacker Jacks. Big fan of Snacker Jacks because they're like 90% air, so you just feel like you're eating stuff, but it's just mostly nothing. It's great.
Yeah, I'm not such a fan of that.
Yeah.
If I'm eating, I want to know I'm eating. You know what I mean? Yeah. Next question.
Bit fucking heft.
I just like stodge. Have a plate of stodge, please.
Yeah, just some oil in a pan.
With rice. Good.
When I was 10, I bumped into Derek Akora at Tesco's checkout. Just the night before. Not me.
I hope that's the end of the email. Cheers.
This is a new one. Just the night before, he had been on Most Haunted Live, pretending, in brackets, to be possessed by a chap called Edward Beaumont. He says here, like, pretending in brackets, but isn't that, like, libelous or whatever or something? Because he does claim that he can do that.
I think it's technically libelous to say that he's actually doing it.
Exactly, yeah. I think legally, Derek Akora ain't got a fucking leg to stand on, to be honest with you,
Almost
James.
certainly, yeah. Being a charlatan. Anyway.
That's the one I've always got a reason why I wish I was in the Big Brother house, and that one reason would be to just really fucking shout at Derek Akora. I've been questioning myself about all that stuff recently, because I am generally of the ilk that's saying these people are scum that are preying on the vulnerable to earn money and make themselves like famous and stuff. Yes. But at the same time, I'm also thinking, yeah, but is it just like making people's lives a little bit nicer if they believe that shit? Like, is that the end of the world? So now I'm kind of like a bit confused about it all again. But then Derek Akora will come on the screen and I want to punch his fucking nose off. So I don't know. Go on.
Upon seeing Derek, my starstruck younger self walked up to him and performed my best impression of Edward. He laughed and asked me if I enjoyed the show. I rather honestly told him, no, your acting was shit. His face couldn't hide his disappointment as he quickly packed his bags and said nothing else. So much like Derek Acora, what's the game you've started with high hopes only to be left bitterly disappointed by the end? For me, it was the first Assassin's Creed. Cheers for the show and good luck to Sean for the upcoming birth. That's from Chunk.
Cheers, mate.
That makes me feel, the way he's worded that question, it makes me feel that it played like a 60-hour game, and then by the 61st hour, the credits rolled and he was furious. Like the 60 hours he was absolutely loving. It's a Mass Effect 3.
Yeah, that's the only thing I can think of.
I don't know, I was pretty disappointed by Mafia 3 by the end. I mean, I didn't complete it, but I the direction it took after the first 2 hours or so was so disappointing. The fact that it was going, wow, this is clever. It's flicking between time periods. It's building a really interesting story. There are twists and turns. Clear the base. Clear the base. Good. Clear another base. Oh my God, why? Why is it asking me to clear bases? Don't worry, clear another base. Oh, you've unlocked a new bit of a city. Clear the bases now. And that's not a side mission. That's what you do for several hours. And that's when I tapped out. I was pretty disappointed by that.
I think biggest one for me has got to be Fable 3. Jesus Christ, that game was not finished. Like it wasn't fantastic anyway. And then literally the final boss is just like an enemy you've already fought before, and then some text on a screen is your ending sequence.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, that ending was shocking.
Yeah.
But I know I quite like the build up to that before you become the king. Or do you start as the king? I can't remember.
No, you start as is it your brother who's the king and he's a total dick?
So that's right.
Because that's the other thing. Is it's like there's that bit at the start where like you and your mate are like caught trespassing or something, right, in somewhere in the castle where you shouldn't be, and your brother's like, oh, well, one of you's got to die, or something like that. Which makes loads of sense. But then the big reveal when you become the king is like, your brother was, the reason he was a bit hard on you is because he knew there was going to be this invasion of this horrible evil menace. It's like, yeah, we didn't have to kill my mate though, did he? That really doesn't justify that in any way.
But no, I liked all the stuff leading up to becoming the king. But then it was kind of like, oh, now you're the king. Okay, now goodbye.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
So now you're the king. It's shit, isn't it? Hooray!
Oh, Peter. Matt, are you still up?
I mean, that would imply that I would finish a game. So
good point.
Never seen the end of one.
Good point. Good one. Never bought a Sega game. Go on.
I can't think of anything that I've played like that.
James loves everything he plays, so...
Generally, yeah, actually that's true. There's a lot of stuff I'd not enjoy. But mostly, if I don't enjoy stuff, I know that I'm not going to enjoy it before I start playing it. You know, which then
you've prejudged it, and you'll stick by your guns.
Yeah, it's kind of true.
because like obviously in most cases, if you're not enjoying something, why would you finish it?
Exactly. It's like,
that's
the best way to do it, isn't it, James? So if you prejudge something, but then throughout your whole playthrough, touch on the themes of the game throughout, and then it all comes together in a really interesting way, you just write it off anyway, don't you, James? Best way to be.
No, I just like to go into stuff, like tempering my enthusiasm, because then I'm not disappointed.
Why?
It's just, I don't know, it's just the way I prefer to do things. I don't like getting my hopes up and thinking things are going to be amazing and then they're not, because it's just disappointing, isn't it?
Why? Is it? Yes, it is disappointing, but then you've robbed yourself of getting excited about a game, and that's one of the best bits, isn't it?
No, but then if something is really, really good, then you do get genuinely excited about it, and it's really, really great. I just prefer to avoid the letdown.
Oh man, I love the hype leading up to a game. I love it. How can you just rob yourself of that? It's so much fun. Just getting involved and all excited, and then launch day's coming. You're like, yeah, come on.
Come on, guys. Get used to disappointment.
Matt, it's true, isn't it? That's the best bit.
I mean, when you're super hyped for a game, half the fun is the whole lead up and people saying, oh, it's dispatched. I love that sort of shit.
I remember, I can remember a game where I did have that, which was, do you remember Rainbow Six Lockdown?
No.
Always comes back to Rainbow Six of you, doesn't it?
Surprised it wasn't juiced.
Rainbow Six 3, yeah, that's amazing. Rainbow Six 3 and Black Arrow and everything had been fantastic. They were really good, online shooters. And then everyone was kind of excited, and I was really excited for Lockdown because I thought, okay, we've got a new one of these. And it was terrible. It was an awful game. So after that, just never.
That was it. That was the final.
It was Rainbow Six Lockdown. It destroyed my.
James been like, I will never love again.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a bunch of other games like that. I think from like 16-bit era, but I can't remember them off the top of my head. It's been like that.
Surely a few, James, isn't it? Like Shenmue 2.
No, because that was brilliant.
Yeah, but then there's nothing since.
Yeah, I know, but that's. I didn't. Well, actually, I did know that going into it that it was unlikely it was going to get finished. But that was part of the sort of the bittersweet nature of that game. Is that it was brilliant, and then it ended. But,
they've said in their Kickstarter emails that they're going to show something at Gamescom. I think that's in the next week or so, I think.
I thought they said they weren't going to go to Gamescom. Or is it?
There is like a section they said they've got. I'm not sure if they're actually going to show any.
It's going to be terrible. We all know it's going to be. That's
why. I love that. His favourite game ever, and he won't allow himself to even get hyped for that.
Exactly. I don't want this to be another situation where I get excited about it and then it's going to be awful. Because it's almost certainly going to be awful, isn't it? I mean, let's be honest. It's probably not going to turn out that good. They've had ages. There's been silence for ages about what's going on with it as well. And it's just, I don't know. It's a Kickstarter game, and they don't usually end well. It's, it's just keep the enthusiasm down. If it's really good, that's great. If it's not, then,
everything else is a bonus. Right, go on.
Exactly.
Next question.
All right, we've got tweets now. Yeah. So Colonel Red says, "I feel that Hellblade."
That was weird. Did you pick up on that, Sean? It sounded like an edit. Like, if you're listening to this podcast, it sounded like an edit. It was such a wild change.
It sounded like a David Brent thing. Like, we got emails, we got tweets. Yeah. So in a way,
it's just weird. It was just like, sorry, it's not your fault, James. Just the change in conversation and just so quick. It sounded like I cut something out.
Yeah. Anyway, so tweets.
Yeah, go on.
I feel that Hellblade Senua's Sacrifice has opened my eyes to mental illness. What other games offer such a mature treatment of real issues?
And then we got a follow-up which has two very good answers.
Like Depression Quest and That Dragon Cancer.
Yeah. Papers, Please.
Papers, Please is a good shout.
I had the Town of Light that I played quite recently, which was, that was good.
That's about horrific treatment of people with mental illnesses, isn't it?
Yeah. It's a good game.
Yeah.
I would say, as weird as all the dialogue is around the game, what is it? Life is Strange dealt with some pretty heavy issues pretty maturely, I think. In a bit of a teen drama sort of way, and a little bit on the nose, but I think it dealt with some issues very, very well. So I liked that. What else? Oh, To the Moon. Yeah, I think I was about to say that.
Yeah, To the Moon's always the one I go for. That's such a brilliant story and super emotional review. If anyone listening to this hasn't played it, play that. That's just so good.
It's great because obviously it's built on sci-fi shit, but remains completely relatable. And
it's sort of like Eternal Sunshine, isn't it?
Yeah.
The same with.
Sorry, go on.
The same with the likes of. Was it Gone Home? That had some interesting stuff in it, but in a more realistic way.
Yeah.
Because obviously these things tend to be, and understandably so, it's not criticism. These when a piece of art is addressing something, so when games are trying to address a subject, they try to go for the extremes of it, which, has a bigger impact and is sort of aimed to try and highlight a point rather than present a point as it is. Whereas Gone Home seemed to scale that back. And although it was dealing with parents, there was, a storyline there dealing with parents who did not agree with having a gay child quite clearly. The way it dealt with it wasn't the parents are now beating their child. The parents are now, they've completely outcast their child. It took that idea and sort of made it real, where the parents weren't comfortable with it and were actively trying to change what their child was doing. But at the same time, they weren't like the stereotypical wrong nasty parents, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, they weren't
it was interesting.
Outwardly abusive about it. It was just this lack of acceptance, like you say.
Yeah,
and
as I said, it's like that didn't go to the extremes that they could have gone with that, and that would have probably been the more, I guess, understandable route to take. Instead, they dealt with it in quite a mature way. It was really well done. And of course, that isn't even the main story. It's crazy, that game. It's got this whole drama around it that may not even be picked up. It's insane. And to some extent, I think, Firewatch as well, the stuff that it does at the beginning there is really sort of like, whoa. It sort of presents the idea that, you know what, sometimes the choices aren't pick a good choice or pick a bad choice. And sometimes you'll pick a choice and it's not what that character's doing. That's not reflecting what that character is. You're not becoming the character. The character does what he wants. You're just nudging him in one direction.
And
that was all done with text as well, wasn't it?
It was that intro bit, yeah. Like what I loved about Firewatch is, like, knowing the sort of basic premise of the game from trailers and stuff, like, oh yeah, you go and spend 6 months basically camping out in this tower, and yeah, that intro is immediately like, you wouldn't choose to do this unless something's gone wrong. Like, it's like straight away, you're like, oh yeah, shit, like that's actually like a really odd thing to just choose to do with your life, like to basically live in isolation for 6 months, like, you would need basically no ties to like real life in order to choose to do that. And yeah, and the way the intro is just like, again, it's not like not like, sort of like hugely obvious or crass about it, but immediately you're like, oh, shit, something's going to go wrong.
No, and it's rare to play a game where the character you're playing as is a prick.
Yeah,
because
sure.
Essentially what he decides to do is fucking horrible.
Yeah.
Understandable to some extent, but fucking horrible. Yeah. And the way it sort of puts that across is really clever.
Yeah,
it's really well done.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's brought the show down, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Next question.
Alex79 UK says, I had a great question, but don't agree with Farley's recent censorship. You never know which bits will get read, and the context is everything. This is bullshit, because I haven't censored anything. Like, there's been no censorship at all.
You've constantly cut out the bits where people say nice stuff about us.
Yeah, that's the only stuff I've cut. I haven't cut any other content, just the stuff which is, makes
things
you
you don't like. Yeah.
I believe that might be censorship, James. Come on in, Trump. Next.
How dare you? There's stuff. Forget it.
Bloody Dave. There's stuff.
There's stuff, David.
There is stuff.
There's stuff happening just now, but it's, that's good.
Smash.
The Jazzman says, what's your least favourite game genre, and what could said genre do or do less of to get you on board?
Oh, God. Strategy games, I guess.
real-time
JRPGs has got to be the right one.
Yeah, but I feel like
I've still got time.
Some JRPGs do have like a clue as to why people like us don't play them, whereas like there is not a single real-time strategy game that I can get to grips with. You know what I mean?
Give me an example of a real-time strategy game that you're thinking of when you're talking about that sort of thing.
I mean,
it's the first one that pops to mind.
I mean, Command & Conquer's obviously was one of the main ones, and then StarCraft I tried, I just couldn't deal with that. Like, the campaign's really good in StarCraft 2. Like, each level has like an interesting gimmick. It's not just like memorizing your fucking build orders and stuff, which basically is all you have to do in multiplayer. Yeah, I've just never, like, certainly in a competitive sense, I've just never ever had any interest in getting into a real-time strategy game. Turn-based stuff I'm okay, but yeah.
I've never got into Championship Manager games either.
Really? That seems odd.
I played them for like, say 6 or 7 league games, and then just go, you know what? I don't know why I'm losing all the time, so I give up. That's pretty much it. That's my Championship Manager experience.
Yeah, I always wanted to play that, but never did. And I always wanted to play WoW, but I'm glad I didn't, 'cause it probably would have consumed me in a way like no other. I mean, in terms of favourite and least favourite genres, I mean, I've played loads of games which I didn't think I would like, but because they're going to be just fantastic examples of a game, regardless of the genre, I've played them. But so it's hard to say. I mean, I guess the idea of me playing like a 150-hour sprawling Japanese RPG doesn't really fill me with excitement. But then I'll happily put at least twice that into a mobile game or Destiny. So
you don't play action RPGs at all, really, do you?
No, I guess not. No, sort of like brawlers and stuff. No.
Well, I'm thinking more like you never really got into Mass Effect. You
nope.
You do, like the Dark Souls games, you wouldn't go near.
Yeah, so, I'm sure I'll probably enjoy them, but just, no, never bother with them really.
Okay, James.
Well, there are. I mean, like JRPGs, I get that. I mean, I do play them, which is the thing, which is odd. But there are things about them that I despise. Mostly like the like random battles and things like that. I can't stand that. And when games don't do that, then that's what gets me on board, like with them, because then it's like, okay, this is actually interesting. But I don't know. I mean, other game genres, there's not really many that I really, really dislike. Puzzle games I don't like that much. But then you get something like, I mean, I haven't played any more of it, but The Witness seemed to be interesting, and because it seemed to be a bit different.
That's all right.
Okay.
What was the? I never heard you talk about roguelikes.
Yeah, I don't like those very much, actually. It's yeah, I don't know. Usually when I play a game like that, I feel a bit disappointed when it happens, because I just feel. I know this is probably like a massive sweeping generalisation, but I really like it when things have been like designed, like you know, when like
that's fair.
Do you know what I mean, Sean?
Yeah,
and that's
Still
one of the reasons
it's designed.
What's that mining one that everyone went mad for on Xbox and
Minecraft?
No, I can't remember. It's a roguelike. It's a roguelike. I can't remember what it's called.
You mean
what's up?
You mean Spelunky?
What?
That's one, yeah. Everyone says
that
the game mechanics of that are incredible, and that's obviously a roguelike.
Yeah,
so.
like the thing with Spelunky is like it's so like it's the design of the the machine that spits the levels out is so well done. So you can, even though it's the levels aren't hand authored, you can see the things like the sort of clever restrictions that are put in so that there aren't things that will piss you off, basically. But yeah, like there are definitely a lot of like very good roguelikes that sometimes you'll just have a shit run and there's nothing you can do about it. So I get it.
Okay. Should we do one more?
Don't do this to me. There's tons of them here, Dave. I mean, what am I supposed to do?
Do one
Pick
more.
a good one.
All right. Oh crap. Okay. Michael J. Berry. He's got a dual one here. It says, my 5-year-old keeps saying he wants a Switch for Christmas just to play Mario Kart, but obviously that's a lot of money. Do you think I would be just be fine buying a Wii U instead, as it's essentially the same Mario Kart game and far, far cheaper?
Yeah, if he's 5 years old.
Here's the way to answer that question. Imagine you're 5 and you really want to Switch, and your dad gets you a Wii U. How are you going to feel about that?
All right.
That would be
when you put it like that. Yeah.
Yes. How are you going to feel about that? Because at 5, he definitely knows what a Wii U is, and he definitely knows what a Switch is. Yeah. I haven't got you a Switch like you wanted, son. or daughter. Here's a Wii U.
It's just as good. And all the games are much cheaper for it.
Yeah, you can't do that to someone. That's just awful, isn't it?
Not only that, Mario Odyssey's going to be out by then.
Yeah.
What are you going to do? Sorry, mate. You're just going to have to get another job.
Pony up.
Like, get work nights. Get that Switch.
Get that Switch.
One more.
Cheddy says, you have exactly 30 minutes to play a game. What do you reach for and why?
Rocket League. It's the best. Matt.
Yeah, Rocket League.
James.
Probably, I don't know, FIFA, maybe?
Oh God, man! Fuck!
I just like to play a game of football. What's wrong with that?
Wow. Rocket League. is the right answer. Sean.
Splatoon 2. Get 10 games in half an hour, mate.
That is a good shout.
That is a better answer. Why didn't I think of that and say something stupid?
So yes, better answer for you.
It's great because I was sitting there thinking, James is going to say Splatoon 2. He's going to rob my answer. And then you farted that out. So that worked out for me.
Now, I would play Metal Gear Solid 4 and just watch a cutscene.
Yeah, you could watch like half of the opening cutscene.
Do you know what I like doing? Like if I'm playing a game, like at the moment I'm playing Agents of Mayhem, I will sit down at 10, play till about 20 to 12, and then go, right, okay, then just going to save that, close that down, and game of Rocket League. Like, it just, every night, I can't go to bed with it just out of a quick game of Rocket League. In fact, actually, I nearly did last night. Got to 11:30, and I was so tired from, driving around all day, that I just thought, I need to get some sleep now. And literally, just as I turned my PS4 off, I got a text from Denton saying, Rocket League? Yeah, Rocket League, yeah. We stayed up till about 12:15. Good game. Right, okay, that's it. Let's wrap this one up and get prepared for next week's hijinks.
Let's.
Matt.
Obviously, we're on Twitter, at ComputerGamePod on Twitter. You can email us, as James mentioned email earlier, but it's thecomputergameshow@gmail.com. Also, the show goes out and it's also on YouTube, so search for us on there. The Discord, the link to our Discord channel is pinned to the top of our Twitter account. And I think that's pretty much it. We're on all audio services. We'd love if you left a review, or just told a mate about the show.
And thanks for living it. We'll catch you next week. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Cheers.
Bye.